Hey Facebook, how are we? Hope you are all well this lovely Sunday afternoon. It's actually bloody freezing. It's not sunny at all. It's horrible Sunday afternoon, but I hope you're all good. So I'm just doing my daily Facebook Live into the community, and I've been thinking about some stuff this morning. We are currently looking at buying a new house, but for us to live in. Now, bear with me on this one, right? By the end of this video, this will make sense, but I remember back when I was first looking at buying our first home. 2007 is when we bought our first ever house, Andy and I. And I remember how emotional of a process it was. And it was because of fear, really, if I remember correctly. You know, I felt like I was completely out of control because I didn't really understand what I was doing. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know, for me, getting a mortgage was really scary at the time. It was all very, very emotionally led. And so when we were looking at things, we were worried about stuff, and we didn't know what we should or shouldn't be asking. And, where we should and shouldn't be going, what we should and shouldn't pick, all of these different things. And when people were talking to us about putting in new kitchens or, spending money on a bathroom or whatever it was all very, very scary for me. This is back in 2007. Obviously, since then, I've spent a lot of time in and out of houses. I've spent a lot of time appraising houses. Obviously, since 2015, I've spent an absolute shit ton of time appraising houses, looking at houses, but looking at houses in a very matter of fact way and in a very unemotional way. And what seems to have happened, whether I knew this or not, was happening, but we're now shopping for houses for us again. We're looking at buying a house for us to live in, and we're kind of leveling up. I want to move into the countryside so I can have chickens in my garden. But now when I'm looking at houses, it's not as scary. And I'm looking at houses in a way that is quite unemotional, which part of me thinks that maybe I should be a bit more emotional about it. But I think having looked at so many houses, having appraised so many houses, having put in so many offers on houses, having talked about lending, having priced up so many kitchens, having done all of this so many times now, actually the fear, the worry, the emotion seems to have dissipated quite a lot from the first time I ever did this. And it was only today when I was talking it through with my husband, talking it through with my mum, my mother-in-law, and my stepdad, and actually I realised that the consistent activity of looking at houses, going in and out of houses, making offers on houses, dealing with estate agents, talking to brokers, all the things that I do day in, day out, have actually made all the emotional aspect of shopping for houses dissipate for me. Now, there is still a bit of emotion because I did get excited about looking at houses that are the next house for me in our life, the next level, the next chapter, if you like, maybe a family house. Who knows where the world's going to go? I was getting excited about it. So from an emotional perspective, that's still there. But what I noticed about myself is that because of that consistent activity that I've done over time, the fear has disappeared. Okay. And actually, I'm looking at these buildings, the houses that we're looking at buying in a very matter-of-fact way, looking at whether or not the windows are blown, whether or not the conservatory needs work doing, whether or not actually we could fit a new kitchen, or whether we could stick an extension on the back, whether we could extend into the loft and create kind of another story. All of these sorts of things that I'm looking at are completely different than when I first started looking for houses back in 2007 when I bought my first house. Now, I said, bear with me on this, right? So I'm getting to the point. I am getting to the point, I promise. And why this is relevant to you, because otherwise we're just talking about me shopping for my own house, which is really boring for you lot. The reason why this matters to you is what's become really apparent is that after 3 years of talking in this conversation with agents, having a conversation with vendors, really digging into research, who owns that plot of land at the end? What would an extension cost? All of these sorts of things. I've been able to get rid of the fear. Now, that means, in your world, everything I talk about, which is basically the consistent, relentless action creating results, what this has done is it's proven to me that actually, when you do something over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, it becomes very natural. It becomes part of your everyday. So those of you that are nervous about picking up the phone, those of you that feel uncomfortable making low offers, those of you that really haven't got a bloody clue where to start pricing a kitchen up, The first time I ever had this conversation about pricing the kitchen up, I was terrified. You know, when I first got a quote for like £9,000, I think it was, something like that, for a kitchen, I was terrified. Where would we find the money? How do we pick the right builder? All of these things were really quite scary. And actually, all this has proven to me today, and the reason why I'm excited about it and thought I'd share it with you is because actually the same applies for you. If you do this day in, day out, if you make enough calls, if you appraise enough houses, if you do the numbers enough times, if you put in enough offers, if you get enough offers rejected, you know, if you have enough offers accepted, it actually becomes day to day. And when it's day to day, it becomes less emotional and becomes more matter of fact. And when it's matter of fact, it's actually routine, it's driven. When you take the emotion out of the business aspect of what you're doing when it comes to buying houses for other people or buying houses for yourself, then you can make really, really good, rational, unemotional decisions. And actually, that's very liberating. And what I really want to share with you is that those of you that are just starting out or have been doing this for a little while, but still feel quite emotional about it, still feel quite nervous, quite fearful, quite scared of making the wrong decision, making the wrong choice, moving in the wrong direction, actually, the only difference between you and me is that I've got 3 years practice of doing all of that stuff on you. Yeah, that's the only difference, is I've just got a bit more practice of putting in offers and getting kicked back. I've got a bit more practice of being hung up on by agents. I've got a bit more practice of getting told yes. So if you just consistently deliver the activity, right, and you consistently do it day in, day out, day in, day out, that fear will start to dissipate. That nervousness will start to disappear. The emotional aspect of what you're doing day to day will start to get less and less and less, and the rational, matter of fact, really good, viable commercial business aspect of what you're doing when buying houses is going to come to the forefront. And that is really, really exciting, because that means that all you've got to do, the only thing you've got to do day in, day out, is just keep doing a little bit more each day. One step each day, a little bit more than you were yesterday, a little bit more than you were yesterday, a little bit more than you were yesterday. And actually, eventually you'll wake up like I am 3 years from now, from where you are, and realise that you can make really good rational decisions when buying houses or sourcing houses or putting offers in or whatever it might be. So I thought I would just share that with you guys, my daily Facebook for the Project 365. A Facebook live day every day for a year. I'm not really quite sure whether I'm going to handle it, but we'll see. I just thought that might be a bit helpful for you guys. So have an amazing Sunday. I'm really looking forward to next week. I've got loads and loads and loads of work to do. Lots of really quite important stuff to get done next week. So I'm hitting the gym now, marathon training, and then I am going to chill out for the afternoon before I get into it. Have an amazing Sunday, everybody. I hope you've had a lovely weekend, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. See you later. Bye.